Well, hello, and welcome to Phoscyon 2 Complete by Streamworks Audio. My name's Walt, and over the next hour and 20 minutes or so, we're going to take this very cool bass plugin from soup to nuts and see what it can do. Now, the Phoscyon 2 acid line is a Roland TB-303 clone, knockoff, morph, whatever you want to call it. And oddly enough, there are a lot of these out there, but the Phoscyon 2 actually got it really right in terms of sounding like the original. This is as good as it gets. And that's a double-edged sword, because one of the qualities of the TB-303 initially was it didn't actually sound very good. But if you want authenticity, this has got it. And it's, as we'll see in the next chapter, there were a lot of things done to tweak the TB-303 over its lifetime, and they've packaged all of that stuff in here. So it's very cool. Having said that, the next chapter is going to be a little bit of history, how we got here, the weird, quirky story of the TB-303 and all that sort of stuff. And I promise you it'll be worth watching. But if you really don't care about that stuff and you just want to get into turning knobs, skip right ahead to chapter 2, which is going to be a tour of the GUI, or the graphic user interface, where we'll get the general, how to navigate this thing, and the general landscape down. Then in the next 2 chapters, we're going to do sequencing and synthesis, which that's really the heavy lifting here. That's really the only 2 things that this plugin, the 2 sections it has, is the synthesis section and the sequencing section. It's actually a very simple creature as plugins go. You don't have 50 auxiliary windows and 500 menus to tunnel through. I mean, pretty much what you see is what you get, and which is great. It makes it very easy to work with, very straightforward. And then in chapter 5, we're going to look at a really weird little rabbit hole this product went down called the devilfish. And if you know what that means, you're going to be excited, because all the devilfish stuff is built into this plugin. If you don't know what that means, you should totally watch the next chapter. And then finally, in chapter 6, we'll wrap up with how to use it in the live mode and a few other outside of the box options that you have. It was built as a bass synthesizer plugin, but you can use it as an arpeggiator. You can trigger it, like I said, in live settings and a few other things. So we'll look at those in the last chapter. A couple other disclaimers. We're going to be working in a Mac environment. We're going to be working in Cubase, because that's where I live. And I am not an acid dance beat guy at all. So the good news is you're not going to have to suffer through 20 minutes of like, here's my latest thing. We're going to use all factory content for the demos. And those are going to be pretty sparse, honestly, because you can paw through presets and stuff on your own. My goal here is simply to show you where all the knobs are and what all the knobs do. So having said that, we'll wrap this up. I'm going to jump back in next chapter with a little bit of history and some weird trivia about the machine. If you really don't want to hear about that, just skip to chapter 2 and we'll get going. Thanks a whole lot, and this is going to be fun.